I remember when I first saw the trailer for this film, I was so uninterested, but let's see if my mind has changed a bit after watching it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare movie review. And if this is your first time finding me and you happen to like the video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. All right, guys, the title for this film is a mouthful: The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Man, it took me a number of times to get that introduction of this video down. Now, this is an action drama war coming in at 2 hours, and it is rated R, being directed by Mr. Guy Ritchie. And guys, in my opinion, this director does not miss. I have enjoyed pretty much every film on his filmography, but let's take a closer look at this real quick. He is in charge of Aladdin, the reboot with Will Smith that came out in 2019. He also did Wrath of Man that came out in 2021. That was pretty good. Also, if we scroll down, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., I cannot believe that was like 9 years ago. Pretty dope film. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. I honestly don't remember if I saw that or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and say that that was a winner too. And we cannot forget him with Robert Downey Jr. with Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes 2: A Game of Shadows. I love both of these films and own them on Blu-ray. I'm not sure if it's 4K, but I definitely do own them on Blu-ray. I know that he's been known for Rock and Roller and Revolver. I haven't seen those, but everything, and Snatch too, way down there at the bottom. But everything else I have seen, which I just explained, and I am a big fan of this man's work. So my expectations for this film were mediocre to low or mediocre to none. Like I said in my intro, when I first saw the trailer, friend of mine by the name of David sent it to me. I just didn't have that much interest. Even though I love action, I love adventure, it was just something about it that wasn't grabbing me. Now, I did notice that it had Henry Cavill in it. Of course, he is the old Superman in the DCU, and I'm a big fan of his work, but still, it was just something about the trailer that made me feel like this was generic. But it was only up until I saw the film to where I actually grew some interest. I don't know why. It was just a complete 180 for me. Maybe it was a trailer or TV spot I saw, but Henry Cavill did get me excited. But before I get into all the nitty gritty, before I talk about all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what this film is all about. The British military recruits a small group of highly skilled soldiers to strike against German forces behind enemy lines during World War II. Now, when I first sat down to see this movie, to be honest with you, I don't even know if I knew that this was about British soldiers fighting against Nazis. But that does get me excited. We all know that Nazis are super duper evil. So anytime good guys are going after these evildoers, it's going to put a smile on my face. It's just cannon fodder that you can blow the hell up for any reason whatsoever and not feel bad about it in the slightest. Not only that, is this film is based on a true story, and that does fascinate me. I do love films that are based on something real that's happened in the past. And I do like my war movies too. So when you mix those together, World War II, okay, you're going to keep my interest. And that is exactly what this film did towards the very beginning, all the way to the end, which is why I loved it. I will say within the first 60 seconds of this movie, I was drawn in. It honestly felt like a Quentin Tarantino film, who is the king of dialogue, in my opinion. And the reason why I feel that way is, I even going all the way back to Inglourious Basterds, directed by Quentin Tarantino, he knows how to raise the tension when it comes to the characters on screen spitting those words out with the dialogue. That is exactly how this film felt at the very beginning, and I was just salivating at the mouth, knowing that I was in for a treat and was going to be highly entertained. And it did not disappoint. It really did deliver. You don't have to wait a long time for the crap to hit the fan, and good guys are killing Nazis. And when they start doing this, my goodness gracious, it is eye candy to the utmost degree. Not only that it's so unexpected at times, even though you know it's simmering, you know it's kicking in the kitchen, baking in that oven. You can't wait for things to pop off. And like I said, once they do, it is splendid. I loved it. I thought the pacing in this film was incredible. There was literally no dull moment for me whatsoever. I was entertained from beginning to end. This is a fun and campy film as well. It's being described as an action drama war film, but one of the aspects that they're leaving out is it's a comedy. This film is freaking hilarious, and director Guy Ritchie did a fantastic job of combining serious moments with comedic elements without this film feeling silly or goofy. There were silly moments during this film, but the fun, funny, comedic aspect of this film lifted to heights that I did not know it was capable of, and it made it that much more enjoyable. I am usually a stickler, especially when it comes to Marvel Studios films, the MCU, when they are trying to throw in jokes or comedic moments during serious battles, during war scenes, or just something where you need to be taking it more seriously. That's not the case in this film. In the MCU, the Russo brothers are the most successful with mixing serious and comedic moments. And I don't know who took a page out of whose book, but Guy Ritchie is also drinking the Kool-Aid because he did an excellent job putting in comedic moments during serious portions of this film, and it worked very, very well. And the thing about it is, all of the funny moments, all the comedic elements was not even necessary. I don't know where he got these ideas from, but I'm glad that that light bulb went off in his head. Because as certain soldiers are going to lieutenants and generals in the army trying to figure out the mission and how to seize the day, there were just so many things that characters were doing in the background and the foreground, but just at random as they're communicating with each other. That was funny, that was hilarious, that had myself and the entire audience laughing out loud. And it could have worked without this, but he just infused it in so seamlessly, and it worked over and over and over again. Not getting old, not getting stale, feeling fresh and new every other scene. And my goodness, the action in this film was fantastic. It was brutal, it was violent, and I loved every moment of it. But there was one character in this film, super duper swole, looked like he ate mussels for breakfast every day. He had a number of weapons at his disposal, and he was laser precise with every kill in this film, and it was highly entertaining. Whether it was a knife, the way that he would stab people and slice it through their body and just chop them up, just gave me nothing but chills in my bodies, oohing and ahhing throughout all of it, gasping for air, back and forth at the edge of my seat. I loved it. This man had a knife, he had an axe, he had a bow and arrow, and of course he's gonna have a gun, and it was just amazing seeing him mow through all of these Nazis with a smile on his face, and it made me feel good on the inside. But everyone else was great as well. I loved all the characters in this film. They all had a nice portion to play to contribute their best, and every time somebody new was introduced, I did get excited because I was anticipating how well they were going to portray themselves throughout this war film destroying Nazis. Some were white, some were black, and you know I got excited when the black people showed up, and they showed up well. They represented quite nice. They didn't really have much dialogue except for one character, but I was surprised by his role as well. When he first popped up, I thought he was a perverted drunk, but he ended up being somebody quite noble that I do respect, and I'm glad that he was part of this film as well. A number of soldiers just showed up in this film, cut from all different types of cloth, but they had a common goal. We do need to stop the Nazis. And what I also liked about it is Henry Cavill. He is the lead in this film, and he should be the lead in every movie or TV show that he is a part of. His charisma, his swag, his bravado, the level of confidence in this film that his character portrayed needs to be in the textbook. There was only one point where he did lose his cool, and that was a bit surprising and jarring because it just seemed like such a departure from his character that we got within the first two acts of this film. But 98, 99% of the time, the man was super duper confident, and it was very obvious why all the other men and women wanted to follow his directions, because he was just that guy. And it's not just him as well. Like I said, I enjoyed all the characters in this film. They were all very, very important. And it also shows that big muscles and being able to fight is not the only solution when you're trying to defeat the Nazis. Sometimes you need that stealth ninja incognita to infiltrate certain facilities and finesse her way into certain situations to get out on top. Speaking more specifically, there is a character by the name of Marjorie Stewart, played by Isa Gonzalez. She did great as well. I care for her. I care for everyone in this film. Seriously, every good guy I wanted to win. I was rooting for all of them, and they all did an excellent job. And I spoke of Henry Cavill being a great leader in this group and the level of confidence that he had. And I would love to see all the other characters emulate that behavior. But all of the characters was confident, even the characters that was right under Henry Cavill's character, Gus March Phillips. They all knew what they needed to do. And as long as they had a plan, as long as they had some type of great direction, they was going to execute it with no mistakes whatsoever. When you have a large cast, a group of people that are all in sync, all on code to fight the greater good, it's nothing but gold. And I was really enjoying myself in the auditorium as an audience member, soaking all this in. And even though I knew that certain characters were going to win whatever situation they was in, I was still nervous and worried about the outcome. I also thought the film had great illustrations. Sometimes when they were just showing maps or trying to let the audience know what the plan of action were and what was the goal, that was displayed quite nice as well. So great job there too. I love how characters improvise when their plan would go awry. I like that they didn't panic. This was just an all-out group of people that I would want on speed dial if anything would ever go horrible in my world. Seriously, if I was a part of this team in a war behind enemy lines, I would not have any worries whatsoever because I knew that everybody would do exactly what they're supposed to do. And when you have great planning and people that know what they're doing, I mean, you can do anything, and it shows with this ministry of ungentlemanly warfare. Now, guys, I have to remind you, I did have super duper low expectations when I saw this film, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I highly recommend it to anyone that had any interest in seeing this film. I can pretty much guarantee that you will not be disappointed. Guy Ritchie knocked this out of the park, and I haven't been this entertained in such a long time going to the theaters. I'll go ahead and give my rating for this at the very end, but guys, I really had no complaints. There is nothing in the bad section. But guys, again, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give me the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Letting you know, guys, that is just my opinion. I am almost at 50,000 subscribers. Please subscribe, but this is your first time here. Share the video, leave a comment, all that good stuff. But guys, if I had to rate the ministry of ungentlemanly warfare out of a 1 out of 10, I would easily give this film a 9 out of 10. Yes, a 9 out of 10. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.